Jake Paul's Team 10 is one of the biggest social media squads around. This team lives together, vlogs together, and even pulls off crazy stunts together. But there are some weird things that go on in the Team 10 house that everyone just seems to turn a blind eye to. Make sure to keep watching until the end to hear why Jake became aggressive with a fellow team member. Before we get into it, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more stories about Team 10. Now, here's 10 sketchy things everyone ignores about Jake Paul's Team 10. They've destroyed their home. We all know that Jake and his team live in a beautiful house in West Hollywood, but we often overlook the fact that they take terrible care of the place. We guess that's the price of letting a bunch of teenagers live unsupervised in a house together. Jake's older brother Logan even once admitted that Jake's house is a complete disaster, so it's no wonder that Jake's been looking for a new place. Their bedrooms often look like a tornado just swept through them, and they don't seem to care that you can't even see the floor under their pile of clothing. The Team 10 pool is also one of the most mistreated pools we've ever seen, and was once even turned into a slimy lagoon. Chance and Anthony were actually challenged by Jake to empty it in return for 2 spots in the Team 10 household. It may have taken them 2 tries, but Chanthony got the job done in the end and even wore hazmat suits to do it. In an opening montage for one of Jake's videos, you can see that there are holes in the walls, graffiti all over, and they even use their empty pool as a fire pit. But Jake actually does spend some time repairing the damages done to the house himself. We guess that this is what happens when you're young, reckless, and super rich. Jake could easily just buy the team a new house. They're a public nuisance. Not only is the Team 10 house a disaster on the inside, but living next to them is reportedly even worse. According to some angry neighbors, the neighborhood was very peaceful and quiet before Team 10 turned it into a circus. We all know that Jake will do anything to get views, but his crazy antics now have his neighbors up in arms. It's so bad that the neighborhood is meeting with the city and police to discuss the situation. They might even go so far as to serve Team 10 with a class action public nuisance lawsuit. And we completely understand their concerns. Jake and his crew once set a bunch of furniture on fire in their empty pool. According to some witnesses, the flames grew higher than the house at one point. That stunt didn't end up causing any damage, but someone could have been seriously hurt. We worry about what it will take for Jake to finally realize that some of their stunts are super dangerous. Jake doesn't even seem to care that everyone's mad at him. He's even publicized the Team 10 house address, and fans regularly just hang out on the street to catch glimpses of his crew. When asked about the situation, Jake responded that he does feel bad, but there's nothing he can do. Maybe he should try not lighting things on fire and keeping it quiet for at least a little bit. We're sure that his neighbors would really appreciate it. Jake's rules. If you've watched Alyssa Violet's video explaining why she was kicked off of Team 10, then you've definitely heard all about Jake's strict rules for his crew. Just keep in mind that Alyssa was really mad after her falling out with Team 10, so it's hard to know for sure if the following information is really true. According to Alyssa, everyone that joins Team 10 has to sign a contract that gives Jake 20% of their social media income for the next 5 years. If a house member isn't awake and filming by 10 a.m., they get fined $50. Smoking and drinking is also strictly forbidden in the house, and if you're caught breaking that rule, you have to pay a hefty $500. Also, anyone that a team member wants to invite over to the house has to be approved of by Jake. We're not sure if these strict rules are true, but they may help to explain why a lot of the original members of the team left after only a year. From what we know, Alyssa was kicked out, Niels Visser left to pursue a modeling career, and the Dobre twins were homesick. But it's not that hard to believe that they may have all decided to ditch Jake for being too strict. This information may not be from the most reliable source, but it would be super sketchy if it's actually true. Do you think that Jake would do something like that? Let us know in the comments below. How they treated Alyssa. Speaking of Alyssa Violet, we were kind of appalled to learn how she was treated by her ex-friends when she was kicked out of the Team 10 house. According to Alyssa's side of the story, Jalissa was never officially a couple, but they still acted like they were together. But that didn't stop Jake from fooling around with other girls, and he once flew a girl out from Ohio just a few days after telling Alyssa that he loved her. Jake insists that Alyssa was the one who cheated on him with a close friend, but Alyssa says that she only did so to get back at him for cheating on her. We understand that Jake felt the need to kick her out of the house, but it's the way that he did it that we're not okay with. Alyssa even made a series of Snapchat stories to show everyone how ridiculous Jake was being. Instead of waiting for Alyssa to move into her new apartment, Jake decided to kick her out one day without any prior notice. He took all of her stuff out of her room and even put a lock on her door. He left her with nowhere to go, and she basically had to scramble to move out of the house sooner than expected. But what really surprised us was that Tessa Brooks sided with Jake after Jalissa broke up. Tessa and Alyssa were totally BFF goals, but it seems like that relationship is now over. So much for being a team, right? Dating team members. Does anyone else find it weird that Jake always seems to end up dating someone in the Team 10 house? Since Team 10 is his company, we would think that Jake wouldn't want to mix business with pleasure, but that is so not the case. From Melissa Violet to Erica Costell, Jake can't seem to keep himself away from his female roommates. As cute as they appear to be on camera, we think it's kind of weird that he gets into relationships with people who've signed contracts with him. We all know that Jalissa definitely didn't work out, and Alyssa even admitted that Jake took advantage of her crush on him to make money. So is Jerica real? Or is it Jake just using their relationship to get more views? We'll never really know for sure, but it sure is sketchy that the two got married at a chapel in Vegas. Jake said that he and Erica had never even kissed before their marriage ceremony, but he now refers to her as wife in all of his vlogs. It's also suspicious that this all happened around the same time that Erica launched her YouTube channel. We wouldn't really be surprised if this were all a publicity stunt. Jake is always saying that you have to do anything that you can to get views. Bizaardvark. We all were pretty shocked when Jake left his role on Disney's Bizaardvark halfway through filming season 2. His role, Dirk, is an online internet celebrity, so Jake really didn't have to try too hard to fit the character. We're pretty sure that Disney execs loved the fact that Jake was a social media star in real life, but it seems that his crazy antics with the Team 10 crew may have cost him his TV job. The news of him leaving came right after there was a bunch of controversy over Team 10 being a public nuisance in their neighborhood. Disney released a statement that said that both parties mutually agreed to Jake leaving the show. Jake has even admitted that it wasn't always fun playing a kid role, especially since he's grown up so much since he first started playing Dirk. He loved the opportunity that Disney gave him, but felt that he's outgrown the channel and that it was time to move on. He's also too busy working with Team 10, and it was hard for Disney to work around his schedule. It sounds like it all ended on good terms, but does anyone else get the feeling that Jake was probably fired from his show? Disney is always pretty hush-hush about that sort of stuff, but it's really weird for someone to quit halfway through filming. We all know that Jake isn't the world's best role model for kids, and maybe Disney finally had enough. They can't rap. Jake and the members of Team 10 have been getting a lot of attention recently for a rap video that went viral. Despite being released through YouTube, It's Everyday Bro went straight to number 2 on the iTunes charts. Team 10 wasn't even trying to get the song on the radio, but it became so popular that radio hosts started asking them if they could play it. But Jake insists that he can't really rap. In fact, none of the Team 10 members are particularly skilled in that area. Jake even admitted that the song must sound terrible to someone who hears it and thinks that Jake is trying to be a serious rapper. But that won't stop Jake from making more music in the future. He even has 2 other songs called Jerica and Ohio Fried Chicken, which both feature Team 10 members. Jake also had an entire rap diss track battle with his older brother Logan. We're not sure why rap songs do so well on YouTube, but every single one of Jake's rap videos have tens of millions of views. Team 10 even organized a pop-up concert that brought in a crowd of over 3,000 people. They announced the show 5 hours before showtime, and it was all to perform It's Everyday Bro live for the first time. We're not sure why this song is so popular, but Team 10 will probably milk its success for as long as they possibly can. Twin drama. Do you guys remember all the drama that went down after the Dobre twins left the Team 10 house? It all started when Jake egged the Martinez twins on to talk about what happened. According to Emilio and Ivan, the Dobre twins were mad that there was another set of twins in the house. The Martinez twins tried to collaborate and become friends with Lucas and Marcus, but they were just shrugged off. Ivan and Emilio even followed the Dobre twins on social media, but the favor was never returned. The Martinez twins admitted that they still love the other twins though, even if the Dobre twins don't love them back. But Lucas and Marcus seem to have a completely different version of the story. According to them, they didn't leave LA because they were mad at anyone, but rather just because they were homesick. They're super close with their family, and it was hard for them to be so far away. They didn't have any issues with any of the other Team 10 members. So why would Jake and the Martinez twins say that they did? It's impossible to know who's telling the truth, but we find it sketchy that Jake pushed Ivan and Emilio to start the drama. The Martinez twins clearly looked uncomfortable while talking about the issue, but Jake congratulated them for sharing their story. We all know that drama brings in more views, so maybe that's what this twin fight is all about. White House prank. Is anyone else surprised that Jake was never arrested for his 24-hour overnight challenge at the White House? We're not sure if Jake asked permission before pulling off this stunt, but if he didn't, we're pretty sure that he committed some sort of federal offense. It all started when Jake was invited to the White House at the beginning of 2017 to attend an event for influencers. He had planned out that he was going to try and stay overnight and even told some people at the event about what he was going to do. When the night started winding down, Jake hid out in one of the bathrooms and tried to keep as quiet as possible. He even called his mom at one point to tell her his plan, and she she told him that he could get into serious trouble. At 3:15 a.m., Jake finally had enough and he escaped out the front door of the White House. He literally walked by a couple of Secret Service agents manning the front gate, but they didn't even ask him what he was doing there. Jake may have made it out safe and sound, but the Secret Service did show up at the Team 10 house just a few days later. He started freaking out when they arrived, but it turned out to be a prank from his brother Logan. The real Secret Service probably had more important things to do. Pushing Tessa. Team 10 fans were really unhappy after a video came out in which Jake pushes Tessa Brooks. It all happened when Jerrica and Chessa decided to compete against each other in a series of games. Chance and Tessa ended up winning the competition, and Jake was not happy with the outcome. Tessa wanted to console him with a hug, but he rudely pushed her away, and this wasn't just a little shove. Jake pushed her so hard that Chance had to stop her from falling over. Was the shove for real, or was it all just part of the game? Jake's fans say that it doesn't really matter if it was a joke or not. He didn't need to push her. A fan also tweeted he had no right to put his hands on Tessa. Even Chance looked pretty mad in the video. We don't think that Jake was trying to hurt Tessa, but his reaction to her hug came across as super aggressive. Tessa hasn't commented on the issue though, so we're assuming that all is forgiven. And some fans couldn't even believe that people were freaking out over the push because they thought it was obvious that Jake was just playing around. Whether the shove was real or not, Jake kind of acted like a sore loser either way. For a guy that has it all, he's probably not used to not getting what he wants. Well, that's all for 10 sketchy things everyone ignores about Jake Paul's Team 10. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Hey, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.